If you're thinking about buying or selling, this changes everything about your next 60 to 90 days, but not in the way most people think. This week, something shifted that I want to talk to you about. Rates dropped into the fives. Now, some people are looking at 5.99 or better. Now, that's the lowest that we've seen rates in quite a long time. But here's what matters more than just the headline, what those rates actually mean. I'm not a lender, but I can definitely connect you with some local lenders who can run your actual numbers, and I'll help you to understand what the market timing piece looks like for your situation. But here's what matters more than the headline. When rates ease, even slightly, heading into springtime, two things happen at exactly the same time. Number one, buyers who paused start rerunning the math. And number two, sellers who felt stuck start wondering if their next move is finally possible. Most agents are treating this like a market update moment. I'm treating this more like a conversational moment because the opportunity here isn't just about affordability, it's about timing. And today, I want to walk you through exactly what the rate drop is going to mean if you're a buyer, and also what it means if you're a seller, because the strategy is different depending on which side of the transaction that you're on. Let's start with buyers. If you've been watching the market but you haven't pulled the trigger yet, you're probably thinking one of two things right now. Number one, okay, rates dropped. Does this actually change what I can afford? Or maybe you're wondering, well, I've heard this before. Should I even get excited? Hey, those are fair questions. Here's what I'm seeing in real time. Buyers who paused 3 months ago, they're reaching back out. They're asking to rerun the numbers. They want to know what the monthly payment looks like now compared to what it looked like at 6.5% or even 7%. And for a lot of people, this difference is significant. Now, fair notice, I am not a mortgage professional, so I can't quote you exact numbers without knowing your situation. But I can tell you this, a half-point drop on a $300,000 loan can save you about $100 a month. Now, on a $400,000 loan, you're looking at closer to $150 a month. That's real money. That's breathing room in your budget. So here's the question you need to answer for yourself. Does this rate drop make a home that was just barely out of reach last month now feel doable? If the answer is yes, or even maybe, don't wait to run the math. Here's why. Timing matters, especially right now. When rates drop, heading into spring, the busiest time of the year, demand will pick up. More buyers start looking. Inventory is still relatively tight in the areas that I cover, which is Bartow County, Cherokee County, Milton, and Alpharetta. And well-priced homes that are in good condition and good neighborhoods, they don't sit around for very long. So if this rate environment makes sense to you, the advantage goes to the people who move quickly and decisively, not the people who wait to see what's going to happen next. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, what if the rates drop even more in the next couple of months? Could they? Sure. But they could also tick back up. None of us have a crystal ball. So what I can tell you is this: if you find the right home in the right neighborhood at a price that works for your budget and you can lock in a rate in the fives, you're in a good position. You're in a much better position than you were 3 months ago. Now, if rates do drop further down the road, you can always refinance. So here's what I'd recommend. If you've been sitting on the fence, reach out to me. Text me at the number up here. Let's talk about what you're looking for, what your budget looks like, and what's actually available right now in the neighborhoods that you're interested in. And I'll connect you with a lender, and they can give you some real numbers based on your situation, not just some generic estimate. All right, now let's talk about sellers, because this rate drop, it affects you too, but in a slightly different way. Most agents right now are calling buyers and talking about affordability. Well, that makes sense, but the real advantage right now, that belongs to sellers who already know what they want in their next home. And here's why. When rates drop, buyer demand increases. More people can now afford to make a move. More people are going to start looking, and that means that if you're already thinking about selling, you're selling into a higher demand right now before inventory has had a chance to catch up. But here's the part that most people don't think about. You're also going to get to buy your next home before prices fully adjust upward to reflect the new demand. So let me say that again, because it is very important. You are selling into a market with more buyers, and you're also buying before prices have spiked in response to those buyers. So that's a dual advantage if you're selling right now, but it doesn't last very long. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I don't want to sell my home before my next home is available. What happens if I get stuck? That is definitely a valid concern. And for some people, selling first does create some stress, and that's understandable. But for a lot of people, selling first actually makes the process easier. And here's why. When you sell first, you know exactly what your budget for the next home is going to be. You're not guessing. You're not hoping that the appraisal comes in high enough. You know your numbers. You also become a stronger buyer. You don't have a contingency hanging over your offer. In a competitive situation, that can matter a lot. And in a market like Cartersville, Canton, Milton, Alpharetta, where good homes are moving quickly, being able to move decisively gives you a major advantage. Now, does selling first work for everyone? No. Absolutely not. Some people need to know where their next home is. They need to know that it's locked in before they're comfortable listing. And that's perfectly okay. There are ways to structure a deal around that. But if you're someone that's been thinking about making a move and you've been waiting for the right time, this may be it. Here's the question that I'd ask you to think about. If you knew that the right home was available for you today, would selling your current home first make the whole process easier for you, or would it make it harder? Think about that honestly. If you answer that it would make it easier, then we need to talk, because the timing advantage that you have right now won't last forever. But if you feel that that answer would be harder, hey, that's okay too. But what I want to understand is specifically what worries you about selling first, because frankly, a lot of times those concerns can be addressed with the right strategy. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, here's what I would ask you to understand. Rate drops don't happen in a vacuum. Rate drops create momentum, they shift behavior, and they change the pace of the market. The people who benefit the most are the ones who recognize and shift early and take action while the advantage is still there for them to take. For buyers, that means getting pre-approved right now, understanding what you can actually afford at these new rates, and being ready to move when you find the right home. For sellers, that means understanding that you're not just selling into a higher demand, you're also buying before that demand drives the prices higher. This isn't about panic. is not about rushing into a bad situation or a bad decision. It is simply about recognizing an opportunity and having a clear strategy to take advantage. That's where I come in. Frankly, I can't tell you what rate you're going to qualify for. Again, I'm not a lender, but I can tell you what's happening in the market right now. I can show you what homes are actually selling for in the neighborhoods that you're interested in. And I can help you to understand what inventory levels, competition, and timing, and how they affect your situation. I would be happy to connect you with a local buyer. They can give you all the straight answers about what you can actually afford. So here's what I'd suggest. If this rate drop has you rethinking your timeline, don't sit around on it. Text me at the number on the screen. Tell me whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or both. And then let's have a real conversation about what makes sense for your situation. Every week, people just like you reach out to me with all kinds of questions about the market. Some are ready to move right now. Some are planning for 6 or 12 months out. Either way, I would be honored to help you to think through your next steps. So text me today. I'll reply to you as soon as I'm available. One more thing before you go. The market doesn't wait for perfect timing. It rewards people who recognize timing and act on it. Rates at 5.99% might not be the absolute bottom, but they're significantly better than they were. And if the right home and the right situation is available for you right now, that's what matters. All right, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.